I thought I told him to spray it with water to retain moisture before applying the You can't treat a glaze lily like a cactus. If Sanjay does this
I'll go talk to him. At this rate, he won't even be able to...
Hey, Tainari!
Oh, it's you two. It's been a while. What brings...
We didn't have anything to do, and this place looked pretty lively.
Well, Port Ormos is currently organizing a flower exhibition. The exhibition includes flowers from every corner of the world, each with their own unique properties. Even so, an expert is still required to...
Oh, and...
Not this time, no.
Mr. Tainari! Sanjay! He confused the poisonous...
Never mind. Forget about what I said about the food expense. Apologies, Traveler, Paimon. Looks like I've got something to take care of.
Tainari's busy no matter where he is, huh? Yeah, seems like it. Hey, don't look at Paimon like that! Paimon is super careful about what... Well, looks like Tainari might be busy for...
Huh?
Paimon's... fine. She's just got...
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecile...
It's getting worse. Why? But, I was fine.
Ah, a moment of your time, you two? If it's not too much trouble, perhaps you could try this incense.
Incense? Oh, the scent is so... Whoa, that was fast! Paimon doesn't have to sneeze anymore!
Think nothing of it. From your attire, I imagine you two aren't from Sumeru. Seeing as we're both travelers from abroad, it's only right that we help each other out.
Oh, so you're here for the flower exhibition too?
I suppose that's accurate.
Paimon is Paimon! Thank you so much for your help just now. Oh, and...
The traveler, right? I've heard a lot about you from the Steambird. It's nice to finally put...
What happened back there? Why did Paimon start sneezing?
Have you ever heard of hay fever? To put it simply, when inhaled, certain pollen... Well, we're all different. The factors that can trigger a reaction to certain stimuli vary by person, but there's no need to worry. Pollen allergies can be effectively mitigated.
Oh, well, that's good.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. I left in such a hurry, I forgot to warn you about all the pollen in the air. Emilie? Ah, what a coincidence. Looks like my worry was...
It was nothing, really. We happened to run into each other shortly. I'm more curious as to why you thought the traveler and Paimon...
Remember the first time we met? You fainted after inhaling Spirit Borneal.
The Spirit Borneal didn't affect Paimon at all, and now she's the one suffering.
It's not really something you can make sense out of, Paimon. There are all kinds of allergies out there, caused by a variety of different factors.
Exactly. I even encountered a case in Fontaine where someone had an allergic reaction to soba noodles their family brought back from Inazuma.
Whoa. Good thing Paimon isn't allergic to anything delicious.
In a manner of speaking.
In addition to medicine, Emilie is also very knowledgeable about botany. She's taught me a lot about the native
And that's where my expertise ends, I'm afraid. When it comes to breadth of knowledge, Tainari certainly comes out on top.
A flower expert? Oh, Paimon's got it! You must be the
Wrong again, I'm afraid.
Well, I did come for the exhibition, but only to inquire about the Auguste variety.
Oh, Paimon was sure she got it right this time.
It's a kind of flower that was once popular in Fontaine.
Auguste, huh? That's not a name you hear often nowadays.
In an ancient language, the word is said to mean sacred or noble. It's sometimes used as... Ah, that reminds me. Are you familiar with the historical event Perfumania? Was an event that occurred in... It all started when several merchants released their own lines of high-end, expensive perfumes. No one anticipated the absolute frenzy this would create on the market. The demand was twofold. What some saw as a status symbol, most saw as a money-making opportunity. You could take advantage. The value of these products became so inflated, regular bottles of perfume were even going for But at the end of the day, perfume is just perfume. The market value greatly exceeded. Luckily, the Palais Mermonia recognized the danger and intervened before the craze could truly spread. In the end, only a few wealthy families were affected.
What does all this have to do with that Auguste you mentioned earlier?
Well, during the craze, the most popular perfume was none other than Auguste. The demand far exceeded the supply.
10 million? Then what about now?
After the mania ended, most perfumes returned to a normal price. Its namesake, the flower used to create it. Indeed, the Auguste flower was not a natural variety, you see. It was specially when the bubble popped, all the flower beds used for its cultivation were destroyed in a fire.
But didn't you say you came to the exhibition to look for it?
Ah, yes. I came to investigate a certain rumor that the Auguste flower has reappeared in Sumeru.
Traveler, we should help Emilie look for it.
I have to agree. Emilie wrote me to ask if I could look into the rumor, but
Even if I can locate the flower, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed, Paimon. Divine, noble, one of a kind. All beautiful sentiments to be sure, but to me, they When it comes to perfume, I want people to forget the price and the prestige.
Wow, so noble.
Of course, there's also a more practical reason. In recent years, low-grade counterfeit versions of every so often someone will claim to have recreated the unique scent of Auguste.
Okay, that's more like the reason Paimon had in mind.
Ever since that rumor started, 3 new perfumes claiming to be made from the... If I can dispel the fanaticism surrounding Auguste, even just by proving then I'll be free from all the stories and added meaning and just focus on
That makes sense.
Oh, I would of course be grateful for your help, but...
Well, you said it yourself. We're both trapped.
I suppose you're right.
based on the information I have so far, it's Mr. Edgar also thinks it's too early to...
I was just about to pay him a...
Edgar? Who's that?
The person you've been trying to guess this whole time. The flower expert in charge of the exhibition. Back when he was still working in Fontaine, Auguste was his creation.
I should also mention, he was my teacher, the one who taught me the basics of perfumery when I...
So this guy was a famous perfumer in Fontaine, but then he came to Sumeru to teach people...
It's a long story. If you're interested, we can talk more about it when we see him. He should be staying near the hotel.
Oh, look at all the flowers!
Apparently, the exhibitor paid a large sum to rent out the hotel and surrounding buildings. They're being used as temporary...
Yeah, what if guests come early? They won't have anywhere to stay. Also, renting out this big of a hotel, how are they gonna make that Mora back?
It's been so long, I almost didn't recognize...
Well, you and your brother haven't changed a bit.
Oh, yeah, all this catching up is nice and all, but...
Hold on.
It's nice to see you again, Master.
Emilie? Is that you? Oh, it's been years. I've heard you've become quite the famous perfumer in Fontaine. It would seem this...
Oh, well, it's all thanks to your mentorship.
Ah, hardly. I taught you the basics. Hearing you call me... I've taught many students here in Sumeru over the years, but I've yet to see one turn out quite as accomplished. And who are these two?
They're my new friends, the Traveler and Paimon.
Emilie's friends. Well then, the pleasure is all mine.
And these two gentlemen? Are they friends of yours, Master?
Of course. We're perfumer. I'm Oud. And this here is my younger brother, Blaze. Edgar.
Yes.
Merchant brothers?
You must be here to look for the August flower then.
Huh?
Well, what respectable perfume merchant hasn't heard of a goose?
I'm guessing you're here for the same reason. I commissioned a few eremites to do some scouting for. That being said, there are people in Port Ormos who claim some of them were merchants who lived in Fontaine 20 years ago. A one-of-a-kind.
Maybe someone around here just happens to...
No, I don't think so. I doubt that's the case. Even if someone had a bottle that was never opened, Auguste is even more prone to that kind of shift. Only a few Although, could there be a flower out there with a similar fragrance?
Impossible! If a goose were that easy to replicate, it would never have sold for such a...
Technically speaking, the scent wouldn't be impossible to imitate.
Well, let's table that question.
No. By the time they realized they had smelled something, the scent was already gone. Compared to things we see and hear,
It almost sounds like someone wearing the Auguste fragrance.
Wait, are you saying...
Just thinking out loud.
We don't have much to go off of right now, but we can't rule. You all traveled so far to be here.
Ooh, you've got the keys to the rooms? Do we get free lodging too?
My apologies. All the rooms in the hotel are... I managed to tidy up one of the rooms for these two at the last minute, but...
Oh, and we just showed up out of the blue. Guess that means there's...
I should have been more considerate. Here I am with an entire...
Don't worry, Master. I can sleep on the boat tonight. Or I could even camp in the wild. It would give me the opportunity to collect some plants... Although, would it be possible for me to leave some of my luggage here?
Well,
Of course, no trouble at all.
all right then. Oud, why don't you take Emilie? I'll prepare some refreshments.
Whoa, the smell of flowers is so strong. Didn't Edgar... Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers. Looks like this exhibition...
No, that's a florist thing. We work closely with the essential oils of various plants, but to maintain a...
Oh, guess there's just too much to store for the exhibition then.
Oh, this room seems to be a connected suite, and my brother will be staying on the other side of the suite. Blaze, while you're out, why don't you bring our luggage over as well? Blaze!
Yes, of course.
All right, then. Where can we find your luggage, mademoiselle? Blaze will go fetch it for you.
It's still at the port. In addition to some daily necessities, there's also a case of amber wine that I brought back from Fontaine. Could I trouble you to bring that back as well? It would be the perfect way to repay you for your
How generous. I should thank you on my brother's behalf. You stumbled upon his weakness. He's a...
Is that so? Mr. Ood, Mr. Blaze, thanks for...
Hey! What are you doing?
That's Master's voice.
Edgar!
Master!
Hey, Edgar! Are you all right?
Kyria. Oh,
Kyria.
Hey, Edgar? Edgar!
No, don't shake him. He's injured. Just leave him to me. You two can... Oh, thank you.
I check. Oh, but that's impossible. It's not like... Oh, the culprit, I mean. It's not like the culprit could have...
Skin is flushed, pupils are dilated.
That strange smell around here. Is it coming from this bottle? Oh, really? You think so? Do you think whoever did this was hiding in the flowers before they had... True. Well, we looked all over, but the only clue we found was that bottle.
The most important thing we can do now is focus our efforts on treating Master.
So, how's he doing?
When I administered emergency treatment, I discovered a residue in his nose and mouth. Master was most likely... He's still unconscious, and inducing vomiting could obstruct his airways. We'll have to look into... Ah, yes. The scent is the same, but the chemical composition is still... But first, I do believe there are two people who could shed some... Mr. Sylvain, Mr. Lucian.
Wait, you know...
Hey! Were you talking to us, mademoiselle?
Before arriving in Sumeru, I asked a friend from the Special Patrol to look into the creators of Agu. There were 4 people in total. The perfumer, Edgar, a researcher from Sumeru responsible for cultivating the Auguste flower. The 2 brothers capitalized on the mythos surrounding Auguste. Their actions lured in numerous speculators. In the end, they were sent to the Fortress of Meripede for falsifying their accounts and...
And what does that have to do with us? There are countless merchant families in Fontaine.
Every time your brother called you Blaze, it took you several seconds to respond. But when I called you...
Ah, Miss Emilie, out of respect for your position as a famous perfumer in you have a bright future ahead of you. You wouldn't want to develop a reputation.
You claim to be regular perfume merchants, and yet, when I brought up...
What?
Amber wine is a perfume I created several years ago. It wasn't particularly renowned, but I'm certain unless, until recently, they were living somewhere completely cut off from the perfume world.
Emilie, you little...
Don't misunderstand, Mr. Sylvain. I don't bring this up to criticize you, no matter what happened, but Master's life is in danger. We need to learn what... If Master's attack had something to do... So I'd like to trouble you for some information.
Fine.
Sylvain!
Lucian, if this will help us find Kyria, then it will be all worth it. You were right, Miss Emilie. There were 4 of us at the beginning. Myself, Lucian, Ed. Sometime down the road, the Marechaussee Phantom came knocking, saddled us with a list of accusations, and started looking into our books.
Sounds like he's still upset about that. Wait, then how did Edgar end up in Sumeru?
Master was convicted as an accomplice, so he only had to serve a few years. He decided to move to Sumeru so that he could put those events... Still, Master was depressed for a long time after. That's how I met him. My parents had to relocate to Sumeru for work when I was a child, so I had the chance to study under him. But we can talk about that some other time. I want to hear more about this researcher, Vijava.
Like us, Vijava was also staring down an investigation from the But before the Phantom showed up at her door, she set all the flower beds on fire.
But destroying all that evidence...
It didn't matter at that point, because she...
What?
Sounds like you did an investigation of your own. Why even ask us if you knew all of this already?
The name wasn't mentioned in any of the files I reviewed either. But you two...
Kyria was Vijava's younger brother. He was just a clueless kid back then. Somewhere in his teens, I think. Vijava kept him close after our operation.
So, you think Kyria took something with him back then? Something that allowed him to reproduce?
Vijava doted on the kid like you wouldn't believe. She even told us to give her cut to her brother if she left something behind before she died. Believe me, Kyria's the one that has it.
And judging by the liquid in that bottle, the Auguste flower wasn't the only thing he reproduced. He managed to replicate the perfume.
So the liquid Edgar was forced to ingest really was Auguste. Wait, does that mean Auguste...
Poison? No. Of course not. If Auguste could be considered a poison, we wouldn't have even sold half a bottle back then. Edgar fell... He probably thought we had... We're not looking for kids. We only went to prison for a bit of fraud and market manipulation. As long as we keep things honest this time around, bringing the product back to market would almost...
So that's why you never mentioned Kyria during your interrogation?
Yes, exactly. We were just looking out for the kid.
Anyway, that's all we know. If you're looking for information on what's in Auguste, or what to do if you ingest...
Well, at least we're able to say for certain that the substance Edgar ingested was in fact Auguste. That gives us a direct...
Well, glad to hear it. Lucian, let's head back to the room and rest a bit. With everything that's...
Yes, of course.
You think so too? That does seem to be the case. But based on Sylvain's tone of voice just now...
The way you exposed them like that? Just based on a hunch? Oh, right. Earlier you said you were only sort of a doctor. And
Oh yes, that's because most of the patients I encounter are already dead.
So you're a forensic doctor?
Close. I'm actually a forensic cleaner. Once the forensic team and the Marechaussee Phantom are done collecting evidence from the scene, in fact, with just a small alteration to the formula, the same tincture you... Basically, there are two sides to forensics. Those who collect evidence to expose the truth, and those who clean up the smell. I've learned a lot in my line of work, and I've witnessed a lot of death. But this time, we may still save the patient. Actually, Traveler, could I trouble you to report back to Tina? I'll stay here and
Whoa, why the rush? Did something happen?
What? Edgar was attacked? He's the most famous perfumer in the region. Someone who's helped countless people around.
Sheriff, have you received any reports of a suspicious individual fleeing through the bazaar?
No, but we've got eyes all over the area. I'm sure someone... I'll start gathering my forces. We won't let him get away.
What about you, Tainari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene.
But she said she's not a real doctor.
Then she was far too modest. She may not be a doctor by trade, but she has a deeper understanding of human... Not to mention the fact that Mr. Edgar's condition is related to perfume. As for me, I'll head to the academia and see what I can learn about Vijava.
Oh, that's right! Vijava was supposed to be a scholar from Sumeru.
From Emilie's letter, certainly, but that was the first time I'd heard of it. The academia produces a lot of scholars, and there are plenty of graduates. I didn't have time to look into it earlier, but now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom. I have friends in Sumeru City that can help me investigate. With any luck, I'll leave you and Emilie to watch over things here in Porto.
Well, it's been a day.
If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be...
But things weren't looking good with Emilie's master yesterday. We should check on things at the hotel first. Emilie!
No longer in critical condition, thankfully. He's still very weak, but with a bit more... My chemical analysis of a goose also went smoothly, although it's... I was able to identify the components that give the substance its fragrance, but I also noticed an...
Elemental energy?
Hard to say. It was such a minute amount, proportionally speaking. Like, I had to use one of the newest tests developed in recent years to even detect the traces present in the sample. Unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental energy, I doubt it would have any effect. As for whether Master's condition was caused by the elemental energy present in the sample or some other component of the perfume,
Oh, that reminds Paimon. Did Tainari come and find you? Maybe we could ask him to...
I received a message from him last night, but I haven't heard anything since. The message said he was looking into some information.
Oh, Paimon thought he might have stopped by to see you first. Excuse me? Is Miss Emilie here? Oh, perfect! Familiar faces! Traveler, Paimon, you're here too!
Kale. Ah, of course. Tainari's apprentice. He's... And please, no need for...
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you too, Miss... Did Tainari send you here, Kale?
Yep. Master and the others went through decades worth of records last night, and still haven't had a chance... Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, Master considered that possibility as well. But the name wasn't the only dead end. Master tried...
How is that possible?
It's starting to seem very likely if we want to figure out her true identity.
Hey! Lucian!
It's Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Kirio came back?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel just... It's locked?
There's no one here.
Lucian! Lucian!
That's Sylvain's voice! Hurry, let's...
Lucian! Lucian! Come on! Wake up! Emilie! Emilie! My brother. He's...
I'm sorry, Mr. Sylvain, but we were too late.
No, no, that's not...
Traveler, Kale, Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge... He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother.
Of course. Leave it to me.
Thank you both. Mr. Sylvain, let's get you up. We'll take things from here. Just focus on getting some rest. Here, this way.
Poor guy. He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but...
Good person or bad, the death of a loved one is equally painful. All the moments he shared with his brother, every heart...
If Kyria really was behind this, then...
Lucian can no longer speak, but the traces left behind by his death... Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene. I'll leave you to...
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is still up in the air. Miss Emilie, I heard you're an experienced forensic doctor. Have you been able to...
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I just happen to have some relevant knowledge. I did take a look, though. Judging by the temperature and rigidity of the body, it appears the time...
Then, would you mind helping us investigate? Before he left, Tainari said we could trust your judgment if something like this were to happen.
Of course, I appreciate your trust. Many of the traces left behind the scene will fade with time, so...
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can leave the other clues to us.
Pupils are dilated.
And the windows are shut tight too. Seems like the... Well, looks like we've investigated as much as we...
So, did you find anything?
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
But entering through the room next door without alerting Sylvain... Wait. You don't think Sylvain...
No, his reaction to the loss of his brother is genuine, and he doesn't have a motive.
Then what could have happened last night? I know Sylvain...
I agree. Also, I've made some new discoveries, so we might as well head next door.
Mr. Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you and your brother did since yesterday afternoon.
After Kyria attacked, we returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connecting our rooms. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this morning and opened...
So, no movement in the room's door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene. And no external injury on Lucy's body.
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucy's pupils were dilated, and his skin was flat. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or windows, so it's unlikely he was forced to ingest anything. The more plausible explanation is that
No, that's not possible. Inhaling a ghost. No. Emilie, you ran your test, didn't you?
no, I didn't find any comments.
See? A ghost is...
That may be true for most people.
Master!
Edgar? You're out and about already?
Thanks to Annie, I'm out of the woods. Sylvain, no matter how hard you may try to hide it, the truth will always come.
Edgar!
Even if we could keep a secret for another 10 or 20 years, do you think? No, he would never give up. That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was exiled for 2 years. Not
For twos?
So you've already detected it. Well, the Yogu flower was created with the mutated and distorting...
Delusions? I never would have thought that Goose was hiding.
Or of delusion. Or Goku contained distorted elemental energy.
That's enough, Edgar. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume and the flower. It didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway. Every day we posted...
So you decided poisoning people was worth the...
It's not like it was good for business. But don't talk about Goku being on unless you're particularly sensitive to elemental energy.
Maybe there are no records of the poisoning in Fontaine. But even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing up... That explains why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kiri's involvement a secret all this time, despite red chewy delusions, a goose. If the Mars Fan discovered everything...
If I know coming to Sumeru would put a target on my back. Years without any sign of Kiri, and a goose was harmless before. The fact that it's killing people...
So they have much between you.
What about Yelena's death? Was that a cover-up too? A way to destroy them?
Not a minute. We thought about it at one point. We took care to disguise products circulating on the market, and no one left. If the Marshal say Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would be the end. Before we can put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds.
But if the flow was to destroy evidence, there wouldn't be no reason to do that. Yeah, you can't just burn flower beds forever.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't until just now everything she did. It was for her brother, Kiri. One of the reasons they defected from Matsui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continues using the illusion to cultivate a goose flower, weakening her body.
So she couldn't be with her brother because she was afraid of...
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother, the August flower, and Emilie's own corroded body bore the mark. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash, including herself.
So you confirm from Auguste it wasn't destroyed in the fire. Yelena gave it to her.
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother. That's why Lucy and I were searching for Kyria to attack our Marmora and the August flower.
Is Kyria out for anyway?
I don't think he knew his sister was near death. Yelena always wore makeup around him to conceal her deterioration.
All we need to do is tell Kyria what really happened, and then he'll give up on his revenge.
I'm not so sure. Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find some blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using an illusion to cultivate a goose. Or it's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred. Especially when you're living in that headspace for so many years.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own choice.
Edgar, what are you talking about?
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, do you think, Yelena, if we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have deteriorated as if we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at the turn? Yelena.
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it to try and hurt him tomorrow. And what, deserved to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But Lucian's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it with his life?
The only person that can connect with.
Fine. I've said
3 people from Fontaine. One from Ignite. Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I guess we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. With the exhibition, we don't even have space to detain anyone.
such a...
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on... Although with Sylvain's mental state and my physical one, I don't think you need...
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I deserve this. I'd just like to take care of a few things before I go. Say goodbye to my plants and all that. As for Sylvain, I'm sure he... Would you be willing to grant that request?
Well, all right. I'll talk to the Academia. The man we grew to know in Sumeru proves himself to be a good person. Your request is granted.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
Happened tonight? Oh, you...
Yeah! Everybody that he uses a goose to poison people. But we still have no idea how to catch him, and if he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true. But what if we can... If we take...
Master, no! That's too dangerous.
If Kyria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, his last chat, in other words, you want to use us as bait to capture him.
Capture? Not necessarily. I just want to talk.
Afraid? This is my only chance to make him... I'm spending the rest of my life... As for the danger... Everyone else just needs to make preparation.
I'll admit, it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are leaving tomorrow. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist on carrying out this plan,
I'll also keep watch.
Although I think Sylvain and myself should, if Kyria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides...
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using a goose on everybody?
If that were to happen, everyone's standing guard. Even the innocent citizens in Port Ormos would all be in...
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old bag of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to.
All right, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up and start spreading that information.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's just wait and see what the court has to say.
Oh, everyone on the street is talking about the rumors. No matter where Kyria is hiding, he must have heard them by now. Let's head back to the hotel and take a break. We can see how the...
Emilie, Sheriff Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here. I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Was it that obvious?
You seem very preoccupied with Kyria's revenge. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to listen.
Oh,
Hey, Emilie! Kale! Oh, are we interrupting something?
No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through. I've just been thinking. If Kyria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely... There was just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died, and saw how distraught he was, maybe Kyria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge.
So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Based on what we've heard about Kyria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that. Not after everything he's done. But I just can't.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. Empathy is a part of human nature. In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation, and some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. allow yourself to be consumed by your emotion. So while you hold on to that sense of do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? How much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? Did they force answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred, but generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kyria, I'm sure right and wrong lost.
You're right. The fact that we can approach these questions from this perspective isn't because we're more rational than them. It's because we're fortunate enough not, but that also makes us perfectly positioned to stand on the outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too. I understand Kyria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kyria.
The fortunate and the unfortunate.
Emilie, traveler. Huh? Edgar, you're here too?
Oh, it's you two! Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay for you to be out?
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru. So I'd like to...
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown attached to these flowers. And this is my last... I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more important...
The Night Watch! You mentioned earlier that we still need to confirm our...
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to... Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk, and Emilie's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch.
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll...
Not a peep. Has Kyria given up on his revenge? Guess we'll have to keep at it. Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Perhaps Kyria's true motive was simply forcing Sylvain to confess his crimes. No, that can't be right. If all he wanted was for Sylvain to be convicted for his true... There must be something we're missing.
Maybe we just need to calm down a little. How about some tea? You're right. Maybe we can look for a different distraction then, like, Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
Flowers, glaze lilies, incense... Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Wait, what?
Hey, did you hear? Someone was attacked again.
It was the older of the merchant brothers, right?
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
First it was Mr. Edgar, then that merchant named Lucien, and now this.
Listen up, everyone. This is an active crime scene. Please, no loitering.
It's been 3 days and they haven't even caught a glimpse of the guy. What is going on?
Do you think it could be the work of an... I mean, how do you get away with something like that with so many people watching?
Keep it moving, everyone. No loitering.
I suppose I'm next.
You don't know that. Kyria already attacked you once, and you survived. Perhaps he doesn't consider your crime to be worth—
You were the only reason I managed to survive, Emilie.
Even if I wasn't there, Tainari was also in the vicinity. He would have been able to help.
Is that so? I suppose I have exceptional students, caring friends, but Kyria has nothing. Yelena is... It really makes you wonder if there's even a reason.
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kyria himself, once we finally catch him.
Well, I hope it all goes well. Emilie, there's something else I'd like to ask of you. With everything, but so many flowers were transported here for the show. Some of them thousands of miles. Whether Kyria gets to me first, or I'm sent back to Fontaine to stand trial. I know it's a lot to ask, but could I entrust...
Of course, Master.
Really? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Now I truly have nothing to worry about.
Sheriff Sham still has some questions for me, so...
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting.
I'm sorry, Master.
Another all-nighter. Paimon sure hopes...
Emilie still isn't back. I hope she didn't run in. Yeah, that's true.
Traveler, I had my men start spreading the information you requested. The crowd is gone now, too. After listening to Emilie's plan, I started getting the materials together and arranging personnel. To be honest, I'm still not sure how the crime was...
The key clue was right in front of us the entire time! Let's go! We'll show you where the culprit hid a goose. Wasn't this incense originally in Lucien's? This is it!
The glazed lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before. It's a flower...
Well, did you know it only blooms at night?
Emilie, you're back!
Exactly.
A flower that only...
Exactly. Although, the Nilo... That's why Kyria chose the glaze lily as his mechanism.
If poured into the... If applied to the... There's a sticky...
That's right. He applied... That way, the Auguste would remain trapped. However, the diluted slime...
And Kyria could execute...
By the next morning, the sample of Auguste would...
Wait a second. You're telling me this version of Auguste is so toxic, inhaling the minute amount trapped inside a flower? And how did Edgar even survive ingesting a whole bottle of the stuff?
That's because Auguste is just as dangerous now as it was all those years ago. The level of toxicity...
Ah, you mean people who are sensitive? That can't be right. They were involved in the operation all those years ago. If this...
I wouldn't use the word allergic. You can think of it this way. It's not that Sylvain and Lucian are innately sensitive to elemental energy.
The incense in Sumeru.
Alchemically produced essential oils, the
That stuff gave us a lot of trouble when we first came to Sumeru.
Ah, yes. I definitely remember that.
In Sumeru, it's not uncommon to use incense in...
Flowers are pretty important to this plan, huh? The glaze lily is native to Liyue. It would be...
Actually, it's not a coincidence at all.
No wonder he was willing to pay a small fortune to rent out the hotel.
He probably used the mora Yelena left him, don't you think? That money was supposed to... But in the end, it was just a tool for his revenge.
There's a saying among forensic doctors in Fontaine. Every step you take leaves a mark. But up until this point, we haven't been able to detect any trace of Kiryuzek, but because he's been disguised as someone else this entire time.
Creating it. Kyria and Ed.
But Kiryu was only in his teens back then. Edgar's lived here for so many years.
Bad news, Sheriff. Mr. Edgar was attacked.
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out. But before we could even react, the figure... Do you think Kyria can...
I need you to think very carefully.
I mean...
It would seem Master decided to tap into an illid...
What? But that's so dangerous with...
But why? Why?
No. If his aim was to target everyone who had a...
If he left Sylvain alive yesterday, not out of a desire to seem
then there's still one target left.
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator, and my partner immediately chased after them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
Where in the world did he go? Let's ask the merchants nearby.
It's all right. Please, calm down and take a deep breath.
How could...
This is terrifying.
No! Don't come any closer!
It's all right. I can detect a faint whiff. It's this way. Please, follow me. The scent is getting stronger. This must...
Oh! Oh! Are you all right? Were you...
No.
Let me take a look.
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason, it's...
This feeling...
Everything looks all right. It was probably just this...
I can't rest. Mr. Edgar is still... He's a good man.
Oz, you need to calm down and listen to me.
But How is that? Mr. Edgar is 70-something.
That's precisely why he had to resort to extraordinary Kyria used a delusion to bring back.
No. He couldn't have. Mr.
And what if the impersonation started before he ever I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Kyria killed the real Edgar Infantine not long after his release from prison. While Edgar was incarcerated, Kyria started making preparations to replace him, including forcefully aging his body. The new Edgar then decided to relocate to Sumeru, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go of the past. And Sumeru fit the bill to a T, with no one around to question his identity. All he had to do was grow a beard, don a pair of glasses, make a few minor alterations. As the years went by, he removed his disguise little by little and continued to refine his skills. It would have been a gradual process, one that ensured—
That explains why Sylvain said he barely recognized Edgar back at the hotel! He aged himself decades beyond his years just so he could accomplish his revenge!
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not—
What you really need is to get out of—
No, I can keep going.
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort, no matter— I know how to relieve your— I'm sure Kyria—
Kale's right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. From our brief— This leads me to believe those blessed with a vision or capable of wielding elemental power— Actually, now that I think about it, I hate to trouble you.
Thanks. Hear that? We're heading out. There's work to be done. Oh,
got it.
Traveler, Emilie, Paimon, please be careful. For someone whose only purpose in life is revenge,
Don't worry. This isn't the end. Not for us. We're not going to let a goose kill— Monsters. Perhaps they were attracted here by the increased level of elemental energy. Extract! Shine down!
Yoo-hoo! Attack! That's the way.
I've never seen these seeds before. They must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
Whoa, look at all the Agus. There are so many of them. I can't believe a single person did all this.
I fear that statement is truer than you know, Paimon. Using a delusion—
But why would He only needed a few bottles of Agus to—
Perhaps hatred wasn't the only emotion. Not long ago, he told me he didn't want all the flowers transported, but Kyria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his entire life for someone with nowhere to call home. Perhaps dying a—
shattered!
Strike a pose! Let my name echo in song! Russian floral!
This is where you fall.
A plant that destroys seeds. Huh, quite the ecological marvel. Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared. The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end. The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're
Did they catch up that fast? No. My strength is just waning. But it doesn't matter. This is far enough.
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena? Yelena! You tried to hide it from me, but the reason why you continued to use the delusion, the reason why you set your garden on fire, I shouldn't have listened to you that day. I shouldn't have taken the Mora and ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left. The flowers... I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day. Yelena? Yelena! No! Don't leave me! Please! Yelena!
Emilie? I'm alive. No.
That was an illusion, likely brought about by the...
No. The amount of Auguste I drank, it should have been a fake.
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind. To create a perfect accord. The accord is the basis of perfume making, the product in its most primitive
form. Ambergris mixed with cedar wood, rounded out with a base note of agar wood.
This is the scent of leather?
Exactly. We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply one of a kind. That quality is what draws people in and fuels their obsessions.
If I wear a goose to the ball, I'll also be one of a kind. Our competitor already got their hands on it.
It doesn't matter how much it costs. I have to buy something better.
This fragrance will be one of a kind no more. Myths can be deconstructed. Miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience. The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar, capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as beautiful as flowers, and equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emilie?
I got it.
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Yes, Master.
So, you switched the bottles of
Convincing you that your revenge had been completed was
impossible. Even if you found a way, if Auguste was...
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies.
Auguste was created over 10 years ago. All this time, perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. The mythos surrounding Auguste may have been untouchable.
The past.
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always known that, but the meaning you assigned to Auguste became so inflated, you allowed yourself to get lost in it. Just like the perfume mania that captivated the public all those years ago. You believed in its divinity and grandeur. You believed it was entirely... Your obsession with Auguste is also what allowed us to predict how you and...
We just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Well, you hit the... So, Sylvain is... Since you've been preparing your accord since last night, I assume you've also figured out... That means the news of Sylvain's death. The crowd...
Yes. If we hadn't, you might have resorted to the...
Who knows? Maybe I would have just offed myself then.
I know if you had things your way, you would carry the... Sylvain only inhaled all the crimes he concealed back then will be exposed in a court of law for everyone to see.
Is that so? Well, I suppose I'll be...
Whoa, he accepted that kind of fast.
I don't feel the need to justify. I did what I set out to do. But there's no going back.
Careful, everyone. This environment is dangerous.
Stick close and hurry up.
Looks like I'm almost out of time.
Of course, Master.
The combination you used to make your...
The scent of Auguste is complex and varied, yet the main ingredient consists of a single variety of flower. So, as I was analyzing the sample yesterday, I got to thinking, what if the scent of the Auguste flower...
You're saying Yelena designed Auguste?
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, Cecilias... The perfumers of the past knew that if you combine but if you cultivate a new flower species that intrinsically carries the unique features of those three scents, you can bypass that issue and
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Yelena.
Did you know? Miss Emilie's releasing a new perfume! Right, I heard about that. I think it's called Yelena.
Seems like everyone in Fontaine is talking about the new perfume you're releasing.
I was hoping to release it without such a fuss, but I just hope it won't become the source of some new myth. I did, although I made a few modifications to the formula to make the scent more pleasant and long-lasting. Also, I was hoping you could try out the fragrance before I officially release it and tell me your thoughts.
Of course! A good sense of taste and sense of smell go hand in hand, you know? Just leave it to... Oh, it's not...
It's alright. All feedback is worth consider. Besides, when it comes to perfume...
Right! Do those flowers have some special meaning?
If I had to guess, I'd say it probably has something to do with
The language of flowers? Oh, we've heard of that before! Paimon remembers here...
what each flower is said to represent varies by person and across different moments in history. The same is true for the flowers. After returning to Fontaine, I did some research, and it turns out the meanings of those three flowers can be forget the past and keep on living. Perhaps that's the legacy Yelena always intended.
Do you think Kiria knew about that?
I paid him a visit before his trial and explained what I found, but who knows? Maybe she didn't mean anything by it at all. That was his Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she was thinking, even if that is what she was trying to say. Avenging her death? Kiria cultivated his revenge like a flower. In any case, he did want me to pass along his thanks. Thank you for saving my life. For giving me the chance to... Love and hatred are... When someone dies, their thoughts, feelings, and intentions die with them. In that sense, what a goose truly represents. But even if it's only a conjecture, I would like to believe my own... The meaning we give to flowers, the symbolism we assign to our perfumes, and yet, at the very outset, they're born from the simplest and most beautiful desires.